Oh boy, here we go. What do Europeans really think about Americans? This is an interesting topic, interesting video. I live here in Europe now, and I see the United States differently. Not just because of my personal experience, but what I see other people around talking about. I had someone who came over the other day who was fixing our, we had a shower head that was broken in our bathroom, and he was fixing it, and he was asking me where I was from, and I was telling him, and he was saying like, "Why did you leave the United States?" Like he's got super passionate, and then he said that he loved it. He's always wanted to go to the United States, but now because of our current president and the way things are over there, like you would be crazy to go to the United States, and I believe that. I know I'm going to turn some people off by saying that, but it's just what I believe. That's why I left. If I didn't believe that, I'd still be there. But this is going to be interesting just to see what these Europeans think about Americans and America. And I know from the comments on my videos what they think. So, but all right, before we get going here, go ahead and like the video. That really does help a lot. Oh, by the way, I should say the video is called "What Do Europeans Really Think of Americans?" and it's by a channel called World of Nuance, and I will include the link in the description so you can go on over there, support them, do all of the YouTube stuff. All right, let's see what we can see.
What are your impressions of America right now?
So this kind of like consumerist way, I didn't really like it, to be honest. Like I didn't see humbleness in it.
My impression is that the country is pretty divided.
Maybe like very polarized country.
You're pulling in so many different directions. Each one of them is getting more and more radical, it seems like.
Yes.
What you sold us in movies or and on other media is not what real America is, what real US is.
I think the new
That's true. It's not. I don't even know what's in movies anymore, but it's definitely not that. It's just a shit show. I don't know. I can't think of another way to say it. It's just crazy over there right now.
news are just so negative that it's easy to forget that it's also, in many ways, it seems to me, a great country.
What do European people think of Americans? Keep watching this video to find out.
Oh wait, yeah.
I think like all Europeans have kind of like gotten kind of like a superiority complex towards Americans. Like I think a lot of Europeans are like, there's just so much stuff and so many people in America who just seems
Superiority complex. Yeah, I think so. What do you think? You think Europeans have a superiority complex? I mean, I'm assuming she's European, so she would know, at least from her perspective.
there's just so much stuff and so many people in America who just seem so like out of it. Like it's
Yeah.
just so many weird ways of thinking that. But I think I don't think it's true that Europeans aren't that way. It just seems that there are more Americans who just can make themselves believe anything. And I think also like the politics in America, a lot of Europeans, especially Norwegians, we have kind of like a belief system which in many ways clashes with the American belief system, like with healthcare. And a lot of that like individuality.
Wait. So what she said is super interesting. Basically, she's saying that Americans are more gullible and fall because she started out by talking about the news. So she's pretty much saying that Americans got to fall for fake news. Oh God, I can't believe I even had that come out of my mouth because that didn't start until Trump was president. Now it started. Anyway, but basically what she's saying is that Americans are more likely to fall for, all of this fake news than Europeans, but some Europeans are. I've never thought of that. Is that true? I mean, obviously, I don't know enough Europeans or enough about Europe to know whether or not that's true. So, be curious to know what you had to say about that. Let me back up just a little bit.
American belief system, like with healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of that, like individuality and capitalist system, and like in Norway
Abortion,
we're more kind of
maybe?
and abortion, the
God, yeah.
like intense like freedom. Everybody does their own thing. I will not be limited by like gun laws and whatever. Like in Norway we're kind of like more of a we have more of a socialist foundation. So I think
Yeah.
it's easy for Norwegians to kind of look down on Americans and think that they're being like very stupid. But I don't think it's true that all Americans, obviously not all Americans are like that. And it seems like there's a lot of differences between the states. But I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's a very different belief system, I think.
That is a true statement that she said. And it's really interesting that I think one of the core beliefs, maybe even problems with a lot of what's going on in the US and what has over the years is that they don't want any type of unification, any government or anything telling them anything. Like you can a government can want to, an administration in the United States could want to have free food for all children in school, not especially, but for all children, including the ones that can't afford it, and like they don't eat at home. And you will have people say, no, I don't want the government to tell my kids that they need to eat at a certain time, or they need to eat a certain type of food or something like, even if it's healthy food, they're like, no. And so that's usually what it boils down to. It's like they just don't want the government dictating their life, no matter what it is, even if it's something that like you could tell them that for like every month for the next 5 years, you're going to receive $1,000 check. And some people, probably a good amount of people, will be like, hell no. I don't want the government to have anything over me. Just like stuff like that. It's I think that was very important what she said.
Between the states. But I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's a very different belief system, I think.
Funny story, I was just in America for 6 months this spring. I was an exchange student there in California. I've been to America a couple of times, and it's always a great country to visit, but of course the media coverage isn't always projecting positive things, a lot of complications with the president or with the abortion laws, and I feel like the country, my impression is that the country is pretty divided, and just into two different parties.
Yeah.
So if you hear a lot of things that you maybe don't think is the best way to solve some issues.
So I think this is going to be an interesting take, but this is my belief. Before 2016, which is when Trump ran for president and won, like I had no idea who, like my friends, like politics wasn't even a thing. Like we didn't know who was a Democrat, who was a Republican. Like you just didn't know. Obviously people had their beliefs about certain parties and things like that, but I literally did not know. It was never brought up. But then when he came along, it really turned into, and really when Obama was elected is when it all started, because you had some people who hated that, which was the start of the Tea Party, which is what led to Trump, like directly almost. But that's when it started with him. But the division really started when Trump was elected, because he was such a morally bankrupt person that the people who supported him, I mean, you almost couldn't help but just figure that they were morally bankrupt too, and were okay with all of the stuff that he does. So it really started to divide people, because you started to see who people really were. So You know, that's my opinion, and I know some people who also believe that, but and here we are.
But all in all, America has always been like the big brother of the North, Norway. So no, it's not all bad.
I've not been to America so much. I visited her in Easter. So most of the knowledge about America comes from the media, and yeah, as she said, it seems to be a bit divided into two parties. That's pretty much what I know.
I think people think it's very chaotic,
Yes.
very polarized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but you know, it's now we're probably only going to mention the negatives, right? Because that's what you get in the news. So sure, America has problems, but so does
Norway.
So does everyone.
Yeah. We all do.
I think then the news are just so negative that it's easy to forget that it's also it's in many ways it seems to me a great country. But I think people think about the things they see in the news, and the news just tend to focus on bad things. Unfortunately, most people see America in black and white, which is what we should try not to do, because then we're just keeping it polarized in a sense. We're reinforcing that that polarization.
Oh man, that's interesting. I mean, he makes a good point that I don't know. I guess people see great things there. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, there's things. Okay, what I do miss about living in the United States is just almost like a personal thing, just the convenience of being able to accomplish anything that I know I need to. Like the culture, everything. Like I'm obviously comfortable with that. Like I can go there with nothing, and it'd be relatively easy for me to get around and do things. So I do miss that part of it. I mean, you know, some of the things that are great about the country are also the things that make it not so great. You know, like the fact that you can go there and have 75 different cereals to choose from. I mean, that sounds great because you got Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles and all these different things, but then they're not good for you. So that makes it not great. Or, you know, you can have a lot of the I was gonna say like freedoms to do things like carry guns and all that, but you know, I don't know, that is not great to me. So I miss my family. There's a lot of beautiful landscape there. There's beautiful landscape everywhere, but there's some like wonders of the world that are in the United States, like Niagara Falls or the Grand Canyon or things like that. I've never been to either one of those, by the way, but those things are there. So, you know, so there are some beautiful places there. Colorado is one of the most amazing places I've ever been, and I had to drive there one time. Things like that. But you know, the fact that you can get big cars, big trucks, you know, that doesn't do anything. That's bad for the environment. You don't necessarily need them. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily think is great. Otherwise, I would be there. Nobody forced me to leave.
What's your impression of people in my country, or just my country in general right now?
I guess very friendly and extroverted and talkative.
Yeah.
I guess this is maybe like very polarized country when it comes to like politics, that is very conservative and like capitalistic.
How I see.
Sorry, I just want to comment on that. That's one thing that's going to be hard for me to let go is my just like outwardness. Like, I like talking to people. Like, if you're watching this video and I see you, like, come up and talk to me, or I don't know. I just find people so interesting in their lives and who they are and how they think. So I like talking to people, and I'm not afraid to talk to anyone, really. Although it's a little more challenging here in Spain because I can't talk the way that I want, but I'm working on that. But so then that part, I guess that might be the American in me that's just like never. It's going to be hard to change. And I don't think I ever would want to do that. I don't think I'd ever want to be different in the way I approach people. Well, completely different anyway.
That is very, when it comes to like politics, that is very conservative and like capitalistic.
How I see America and Americans right now, it's a big contrast, and yeah, I would say the country of getting more and more. Difficult for me to express this, but express that. But it looks like it could be both very engaged, very scientific, and you know, leader in many fields. And on the other side, it's also a country of with coming with the most dumb ideas and you know, very shallow approach to the life and so on. So. A lot of contrast, and you know, thinking about politics, such a big country, and you cannot find a single person that could be a really decent president. Yeah. But I feel the same way in Poland. I mean, there's nearly 40 million of us, and yeah, we didn't have a good president either. So somehow this is a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. I know what they're saying. It's like, out of all the people you got to pick from, you came over to him. Yeah, there's so much more to it, though. I have some people really, really close to me in my life who voted for Trump every time and would vote for him a million times more. And, you know, I'll just say this. Trump, like, doesn't exist in a vacuum. Like, he is there because there are millions of people who he represents who think like him. It's so crazy to wrap your mind around. But, you know, there's also just as many people who don't think like him. But there's just there's so many things that lead to him actually winning a presidency. So it's just crazy. He does represent the U.S. right now, which is just unbelievable. But, you know, I think he has a point. That's like, out of all the people, and that's what you got. Yeah.
I would say politically we consider right now it's more stable having Biden as a president. Of course, Trump was considered as somebody totally unpredictable, not really the guy of politics, and we could see these days also some reports that probably not the most ethical person. And you know, the way we see it also, that it's country probably good for young and wealthy people, healthy people and wealthy people. Because in a way, what we hear, you know, the cost of the healthcare, for instance, seems not to be the way that developed country should handle it. But on the other hand, we see it from the distance. We are not living there, so it's just an impression. We don't know how it is for real over there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He brings up a good point. Seeing it from a distance, you don't really know what's happening. But I was there, so Hungary.
What would you say are your impressions of America right now? Of the people there, of the country? Like,
I've never been, you know, so I cannot really judge. Like, when I used to live abroad, I met a lot of Americans. To be honest, I didn't have the best experiences.
Oh, really?
But that's those people, right? So I had this, and also, you know, I consume a lot of like American TV and a lot of movies, you know, so I think, you know, in the middle of Europe, we get a lot of your culture, you know, in this kind of lens from the movies and the music, and so we actually know a lot without even being there, you know. So I mean, I find beauty in it, but like I don't know, it's hard to say, like, so this kind of like consumerist way that you think, or at least what I witnessed with this couple of people I met during my journeys, I didn't really like it, to be honest. Like, I didn't see humbleness in it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't the best experience, but obviously I met some, like, you are a really nice guy, you know?
Thank
like,
you.
And
I could be friends with her. She might like me.
met an American actor who was really cool, you know,
really?
like he was so sweet, you know, and so kind and so respectable, you know, like, so I mean, I don't really think you can generalize people, you know, you have different experiences with different people.
Right.
So.
Yeah, they're like, I think there's like types of people overall.
Yeah,
like there's a
for
certain
sure.
culture, but then when you get down to individual level,
Yeah, exactly.
people
So I don't want to
differ.
say like I'm not into it, you know, because
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, and I'm sure.
I mean, I get what she's saying. You can't really generalize that like that way. But it's almost like in the United States, like in order for you to exist, you have to kind of think a certain way. I mean, you know, that's a real general statement, but you know, people can get by without thinking a certain kind of way. But I mean, you got to, you know, work a lot and do all these things. I mean, obviously, millions of people don't think that way, but a lot of people do, and it reflects in like the success of somebody who's a manager or owns a company or all these things. Like they all say that they worked hard and did all of this, and so you know you kind of have to have that mentality. Like she was saying that you know she knows a lot about the culture in the United States, which is true, but it's like she still has a different mentality. Europeans have a different mentality than people in the US. So it's like you're aware of the culture, but that's not like who you are. So I don't know. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. If it doesn't, you can tell me. I won't be terribly offended.
Sure, if I would go there and experience it for myself, like for instance California, I'm sure it's beautiful. And,
Yeah.
you know, there are so many things to do and so many nice people to meet.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, and you have really great artists, you know, so that you brought out into the world. So
Yeah, it's a very creative.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's true. I guess that's some of the things that are great from over there. You know, but how does that help my life?
I think you guys are kind of crazy.
Okay.
Like there's just you're pulling in so many different directions, and each one of them is getting more and more radical. It seems like there's no more common ground, or at least it's shrinking.
Yes. And you think it's both sides? It's not just like one. It's not like one side or the other.
I mean, I'm all for like left-leaning stuff. Like it's fine, but you can take it to an extreme that like a semi-conservative person would not be okay with, and I don't think that's doing anyone any favors.
Yeah.
Like you can have reforms and still kind of keep with the culture or keep with like values that other people still feel important to them.
That's interesting what he's saying, and you could see it happening. I mean, when Obama became president, I hate this is turning into politics, but this is what he's been saying. So anyway, when Obama became president, like the right went far right, and now here recently, like the left is starting to go far left, and so it leaves a lot of people in the middle out. And over there, you really only have two options. So yeah, that is a true statement. It's like the people who thought that Obama was like the most liberal person that the country has ever had. They're like, we need to take the country back to the right. And now you got people on the left that see Trump and they're thinking that, oh my God, he's the most whack job right-wing person we've ever had. So we need to bring the country back to the left. So, and then you got the people in the middle who might be like, you know, like fiscally conservative or but socially liberal or something like that. Or, you know, there's people like that are in the middle. that don't have a home over there.
So I don't. It's very different from any other place in the world. Like I don't. To me, it's just. I don't know. They're just going in too many different directions.
Was this
But I'm just curious what your thoughts are on America and like the people of America at this state in time.
I think you American people did it very well with Hollywood and all that stuff, but when you get a little bit into the US culture, you find that what you sold us in movies and on other media is not what real America is, what real US is. And it's true that while the time is going by, we are starting to understand that US is not the center of the world, and we don't have to strictly follow what US is saying and what US people are thinking. I know that also US is divided into ways, as you said before. And I don't know, I think the whole world is changing, and the globalization in English, it's also making people understand that you can get the best parts from all the countries. Of course, US has very good things to give to the world. But it's true also that the European people or the people from many other countries can also give a lot to the world, not only the US.
That's true. I think, let me see. That's true. Oh man, I don't know. I never. We've done a lot of videos, my wife and I, probably over 1,000 videos, and I never really say Trump's name, just because I know it's so polarizing, and I know it's gonna drive some people away from my channel or anything like that. I would hope not, because it's just my opinion and my perspective. But it's just for me personally, it's a tough time over there. And it's not like, once Trump is gone and we get a new president, I'm going to go back. Because it's still the same problems are going to exist. The things I have a problem with, like gun laws, the healthcare, food over there, safety. I mean, I can go on and on some of the things. And then just the idea, like, of, being able to work, being able to exist here, and just your main goal to be a good quality of life. Like it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. You could just chill. My wife and I, probably 3 days a week, we just go to like 2 or 3 coffee shops. We go to one, we hang out there for about an hour. We go to another one, we hang out there for about an hour. Then we go somewhere else, hang out there for about an hour or so. Then we come home and, have lunch. And it's just great, So I don't know. I think it was an interesting video. And I think I did learn a little bit more about what people think about the US, what Europeans think. And I think that was a good representation, because I know people in the United States think that there's no way that people outside of the United States or in Europe, there's no way that they think America is not the best place in the world. Like, there's people over there who think that. But I see it all the time around here. I see graffiti, F Trump, and all this kind of stuff. And I get it in the comments all the time. It's just a different day. But I do have to go over there one day, so I better be careful, because I don't want them to put me on lockdown, not let me leave or something because of this channel. But we do have to go there probably at the end of this year, because we have family. Our parents are a little bit older, so we definitely got to get over there to see them. So that's going to be happening. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm going to record it and put some videos here, because it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like for me after 3 years to go back over there you know, that's going to be interesting. All right. This is a good video. Hopefully you liked it. Put something in the comments what you thought about what they're saying. Are any of these things true for you as a European? If you're not here in Europe, if you're in the United States, is any of this ring true for you, what they're saying or anything like that? Just go ahead and put that in the comments. That would be great. Before we get out of here, go ahead and like the video. That really helps a lot. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Greg, and we will catch you on the next video. Peace.